chair. Now, we're going to go from one mess to another. We was up in here getting a little political. But let's get into this mess. I don't know why would anybody be surprised that Joker Folie à Deux flopped at the box office. So they basically said that it opened at number one, but only with $40 million. And that's pretty bad compared to the first movie, because this is a sequel. Like, you would expect, if this is going to be the number one movie at the box office to a sequel, that it would double how much it brought in. Now, I don't necessarily know how much that is, but Screen Rant, they had the whole breakdown. So we'll go through it, and then I'll give my overall thoughts on what I believe went wrong. Because I was sitting there like, well, what happened? Because all you incels that was out here windmilling hard for this damn movie, where y'all were at? Where y'all at? Because y'all didn't go to the movies and support it. Y'all remind me so much of them damn Melissa Barrera people that was out here getting mad. We gonna boycott Scream. And then the minute she goes and does another movie, where y'all at? Y'all didn't show up at the theater. Same thing with this. Y'all didn't show up to support the movie. But then again, from what I was hearing, Todd Phillips basically didn't like the monster that he created with the first one, that the fact that so many incels resonated with the Joker character of someone who, oh, well, I'm mad at the world and I was dealt a bad hand, so now I'm going to go crazy and I'm going to start killing people and I'm going to cause anarchy. Blah, 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 blah. And then when you realize that, yeah, we know it was about mental health and the fact that the system fails, people with mental health and all those other things, and how y'all decided to just rip off Taxi Driver and Mean Streets, early Scorsese movies. If you haven't seen them, definitely check them out. That's the one thing I love about old movies. I love looking at old New York when they're showing them, because it was like a time before I was born. So just seeing like the overall grit and the filth of New York, where it looked like a no man's land at one point before it was all, fixed up and made to look like an amazing metropolis that so many movies like to emulate, like Batman and the Joker and all these other films. So after that, then after the success, when they pulled everything in and you saw like these people that y'all were trying to, I guess, poke fun at or I shed a light on start to resonate, then it's like you tried to strip away and destroy with a jackhammer the very thing that you created with the first one. So who is this? What is the sequel for? And then some of the decisions that y'all made didn't make no sense. So they says, shout out to Screen Rant, by the way. When looking at the list of upcoming DC movies, Joker 2 was the last before James Gunn's DC universe truly begins with Superman in 2025. And I'm glad they put that in there, because I had seen so many people go and say, oh, well, James Gunn's franchise is going to suck. Oh, this movie's going to be bad because they did it, they're trying to equate this movie with what James Gunn is doing. Technically, James Gunn's universe doesn't start up until the end of the year when we get Creature Commandos, but it really starts to kick into high gear next summer when we get Superman. That's when his whole the James Gunn, Peter Safran DCU really kicks off until 2025. But technically, if you want to be technical, Creature Commandos is when it kicks off, because Creature Commandos is something under the James Gunn umbrella. But you have to wait till next year for Superman to get that. So I really wish people would do their research and stop thinking just because you're getting something now and you heard a report about the people in Warner Brothers having to, step down, get fired, whatever the case is, just because you started to get something years later, when it was mentioned years later, does not mean it goes into what that person who was brought in now is doing. You have to it trickles down. It's the same thing I say with politics. Like, when things are put into place, you don't start to feel it until the next administration. So when Trump does some stuff, his policies trickle down in the next administration, meaning the Biden administration. Now, whoever makes it the second term, please God, don't let it be him. But if Kamala Harris becomes the president, the Biden policies, you'll start to feel it in the next administration. Things take time. So I really wish people would stop with the whole James Gunn bashing and wait until those movies come out before y'all start running off with the damn mouth. Because a lot of people that say stuff, they really don't understand how this industry works. But anyway, let's get into the story. So it says that such a great deal of attention was placed on Joker Folie à Deux, not only to gauge how DC's Elseworlds property will fare moving forward, but also due to the first movie's overwhelming success. By the time Joker Folie à Deux is ending, many were disappointed by the sequel. The attention it received pre-release proved not only to extend into positive reviews, as despite Joker 2's promising cast and craftsmanship, the story proved not to resonate with critics and audiences alike. This immediately led attention to turn to how the film would perform at the box office. Now, here's what I also think has made a mistake. Number one, this movie should not have been $200 million. This movie should have at least had, I would think, a $50 million to $80 million price tag. I think 70 to 80 million would have been a great price tag for that, because at the box office, you probably could have made all your money back. But 200 million, what the hell did you spend the money on? For the musical numbers? And then the parts in the musical numbers, while it started off okay, like it was working in certain situations, it felt like it was a crutch. And then it was this brought in the scenes. I'm like, wait, this doesn't fit in. Like, what are y'all doing? And then on top of that, I don't want to necessarily go too hard on Lady Gaga, because here's the thing, and I will always say this: the one thing she does have over Madonna, even though a lot of her career musically has kind of bitten off of what Madonna's already done. She takes a lot from the blueprint, and Lil Monsters, save the rhetoric for somebody who gives a damn. Go argue with your mammy. But I'm giving you the true tea. The fact of the matter is, a lot of her aesthetic, a lot of what she does, Madonna's already done it. Even down to her Harley Quinn album. That was something Madonna already did about 30-something odd years ago when she did I'm Breathless. That is her version of I'm Breathless. If you need to Google schmoogle, it is there. I know it's before your time, but the internet is your friend. Look it up. Blueprint is similar. But the one thing I will say about Lady Gaga, that she does have a step with Madonna. She is the better actress. And she shows up and gives what she needs to be. Now, when she was in The Star is Born, it was a little rocky. But as she progressed with House of Gucci, even with this film, whatever the material is that you give her, she works with it with the best of her ability. So I'm not going to go too hard on her on that. She is a step up with the acting versus, what Madonna brings as an actress. And it's not easy getting in front of a camera and delivering lines and the emotion and all that other stuff. It's like you could bring it with your music, because that technically is a part of you. But when you have to bring that to that character, then that's what it is. I also didn't understand why they named her Lee in the film. Like, her name is Harleen Quinzel. I almost said Quinlan. Harleen Quinzel is her name. I don't understand why they called her Lee. First of all, you could have called her Harleen or Harley Quinn. Like, if that's the character you're basing her off of, you could have called her that. Now, also, why the hell was Harvey Dent in this movie? You had a young Harvey Dent. There was really no understanding of a purpose for his character. Why you brought him up in there? Like, if there was a sense of, well, he is in this taking on this case, and it's basically him trying to bring the Joker down, that should have been reiterated. There was a lot of ideas that was thrown in here. One of the things I will say about Todd Phillips that he has a huge problem doing is executing those ideas for it to make sense. This is exactly why I despised the first film, because I felt like I understood what he was getting at, but it wasn't executed to the way where it made sense. So when you have people, well, he's doing a whole thing about mental, I get that. I'm not dumb. And that's the one thing I hate about people too, when y'all try to insult my intelligence. It's like, I get what he's saying. The reality is, when you try to bring the idea and transfer it, this is someone who went to film school, so I think I know what I'm talking about. When it comes to, it says show, don't tell. When you are that is one of the main rules when you do film anyway. It's show, don't tell. You don't need to explain what's going on. You need to show it in visual form, because that's what movies are. Cinema is a visual form of storytelling. So when you're bringing that into this film, you need to explain to the audience what it is, the story that you're trying to convey. I don't need you to explain it to me. I don't need you to do it that way. You can formulate it in film and pictures. Well, I don't need somebody to like do a whole monologue of like, okay, so this is what's happening beat by beat by beat. It's like, no, I don't need you doing all that. First of all, when it comes to cinema, you're supposed to explain it in picture form. That's basically what you need to do. And then you can have the dialogue when you mention things in passing, whatever the case is, but that's what it is when you make movies. So they really didn't explain the reason. Like, okay, so what was Harvey Dent doing there? Like, what was his actual purpose? And then I understood, like, she basically committed herself, like, she lied and about her whole backstory. She basically committed herself to Arkham Asylum, talking about Harley Quinn, to get close to the Joker, to bring that side of him out, because, and then he's going and having these conflicting moments of, oh, I don't know if I want to be the Joker. I'm not this person, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, okay, now I'm about to get into spoilers, so y'all might want to mute your thing while I do that. But if y'all don't care, keep listening. I'm actually glad. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, I'm about to say some stuff. So in the end, he gets killed, which I'm glad is the case, because I don't even think that neither one, him and Joaquin, the director, and Joaquin even wanted to come back. This is all pressure from the studio. Oh, we made $1 billion. Let's see if we can make another $1 billion, because, you know, this movie made so much money and it resonates with so many people. But you have to realize, between the time you made the first Joker and then the second Joker, which I believe was 5 years ago, if I'm doing the math correctly, the times have changed. Who are you trying to tell this story to in this day and age? Like, if you're going to go into, okay, he's in Arkham Asylum, he's waiting trial, and he's going through these things in his head, and he meets this girl, and she's basically, Harley Quinn. And then from what the events in the first movie that he caused, the chaos that he caused in the first film, trickled down to someone in Harley's family being killed, and so she goes under this whole disguise of, I want to get close to you so I can destroy you and all this other stuff and mess with your head, because she is a therapist. You also forget, you know, the backstory of Harley Quinn, you know. So her coming in and doing all of that and psychologically trying to get into his head and breaking down, and then using the musical numbers as sort of like this thing that's going on in his head. Like, I feel like if they would have projected that, that might have been a better film. But it was just a whole bunch of stuff that's thrown at the TV. Well, not TV, technically it's in the theater, but you know what I'm saying. It's like technically too much stuff was being thrown in the gumbo, and you were just hoping that it was gonna work. And it's just like it was just a convoluted mess. So that was my overall thoughts on that. So I'm like, but then what it should have happened was you had some random dude kill him. And I'm like, no, that don't make no sense. What you should have did was have Harley Quinn do it, because they had the biggest connection throughout the film. So if you had her be the one to take him out, it would have made sense. However, it seems like Hollywood is getting into this thing, and I did see a story on this. Shout out to Christian Harlow, because he brought this up on his show the other day. But I don't know the exact. I'm hoping I'm not I'm gonna have to paraphrase, because I don't have the story directly in front of me. Now I'm hearing they're trying to create focus groups in, you know, for the studios. I think Disney, they were saying it was going to be doing this. They want to create focus groups so that way they can go and determine what is and what they want, what fans want to see in movies. I don't like that, because here we go with this whole thing of, when you want to see diversity in movies, what's going to happen is you're going to get a bunch of damn incels who are going to be put in this room and be like, well, we don't want this or we don't want that. Number one, a lot of them do not have experience making a movie. A lot of them do not have experience writing a script. So why are they going to come in and talk about the art of filmmaking when they don't have a background on that? I believe people should be allowed to tell the story that they want to tell. The studios need to stop going based off of numbers and algorithms and what a bunch of trolls are saying on social media, because they're running scared, and allow art to be created the way it needs to be done. It's just like back in the day when we got movies and stuff, people went out, they took a risk, they created what they wanted to create. You either watched it or you didn't. But you're starting to see a lot of these movies that came out this year that's flopping, and it's because you're listening too much of what other people are saying over here, rather than letting artists be artists. And this is why I think maybe people gravitate towards music more than they do movies. Because it's like, when you look at Joker, who is this movie for? I don't think it's for the people that you made it for in the first film that loved it. I just feel like you're making fun of the exact people that were fans of the original film. And I know it's not for me, because I didn't like the first movie. Like I said, I understood what they were trying to get to, but the execution just did not work for me in that film. So now basically so after I had to give my full assessment, what are the numbers? So they said the film was released worldwide on October 4th, 2024, yet failed to bring in the same success of its predecessor. In North America and Canada, the film was initially projected to earn at least $100 million in its opening weekend. However, as Joker 2 release date grew closer, projections dropped to 50 to 70 million as questions over the film, who the film for, was raised. Exactly what I said. And I didn't even read this article. But all the things that I'm saying is basically what the article's saying. Now, it says Joker somehow grossed lower these poor projections. They missed the word, so I had to add that in there. As of its first weekend, Joker 2 has earned a domestic total of $40 million, vastly underperforming its original expectations. Overseas, Joker performed better, but not by a drastically increased margin. Joker 2's international opening weekend box office total came in at $81.1 million, taking the film's worldwide box office to $121 million, significantly below the film's. And that's what I said. It still didn't even break even. Like the budget is $200 million. It brought in 121, and I don't think it's going to fare better this coming week, because guess what's coming out? Terrifier 3, and guaranteed I'm going to be in the theater seeing that, because I love Art the Clown. So I'm going to be in the theater watching Terrifier 3. So I don't know if the Joker 2 is going to be able to still maintain the #1 spot. So it also says Joker failed to earn even half of Joker's opening weekend numbers upon its own debut. Of course, this will be a disappointment to Warner Brothers, with the studio committing to a much bigger budget for the sequel. And heads are definitely going to roll with this. I don't know if the people were still working there that made these decisions, but y'all about to be unemployed, if not already. And so, yeah, then it says that Folie à Deux does not have much room for a sequel, despite Joker 2's unanswered questions. The film ends, as I told y'all already, spoiler alert, Arthur Fleck was killed. And then it says that the creators of Joker 2 wanted to create another story. The lackluster performance of the box office may put a swift end to these desires. And I think that maybe that was intentional. I don't think Todd Phillips wanted to come back for a third film. And I don't think he wanted to spin it off. Because who are you going to spin it off with? I don't think Lady Gaga is that interesting to even be, like, I like her. She does what she does. But as far as a solo Harley Quinn film with her, I don't see people going to the theater to see it. And Harvey Dent being put in it, you didn't utilize him. You didn't even utilize her enough in the damn movie. So, and I'm hearing people talking about Oscar talk. No, for none of them. First of all, yeah, Joaquin was fine. Oscar buzz, no. He got his Oscar for the first one. He ain't getting it for this one. Lady Gaga wasn't in the film and utilized enough for even to warrant an Oscar nomination. Y'all could try to nominate her, but I have a feeling the movie that's going to get nominated, the actors who are going to get nominations, female, for the roles, is, damn it, I forgot the name of the movie, but it's going to be coming out on Netflix. The movie with Selena Gomez and Zoe Saldana, where they're playing a movie where Selena Gomez plays, I believe, the not significant other. Well, yeah, I think she's in a relationship with someone a gangster who transitions into a woman. So I can't remember the name of that movie off the top of my head, but I definitely want to see it when it comes out on Netflix. I've been hearing so much buzz about that film. But as far as like Oscar buzz for them, no. And, they basically, yeah. So I don't think I have any more else to offer on this story, except I'm not surprised that Joker 2 was a flop at the box office. And I think also what hurt it, Venice Film Festival, that hurt the screening that they did with that hurt the film. And I also think the recent fan screening that they just did last week hurt the movie too. Because a lot of content creators, like myself and so many others, had access to go to the fan screenings and get their reviews out. And this is what it seems like it is. Studios are now reaching out to content creators more so than they're reaching out to the critics, because I guess maybe they feel like critics aren't really going to bring that momentum and get people interested in wanting to see the films. So they're really reaching out to the next generation, which is the content creators, those who have TikToks and YouTube and all these other places where they have a wider reach. And for us to get the word out, this is what they're feeling like that's who they need to cater to. But I think the fan reviews and the Venice Film Festival hurt it, because I was like, to be honest, I really did not know if the movie was going to do all that well, because I didn't get any kind of momentum response, any of that from the regular audience. When the trailers were playing in the theaters during the coming attractions, when I would go see other films, I didn't get any sense of people were like, oh my God, I can't wait to see Joker 2, Folie à Deux. Like, I didn't hear any of that. So I'll say all this to say, because I got a lot of comments that I got to get to right after this. What did y'all think of this film? Did you see Joker 2? What did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? No judgment. I'm telling you, I don't particularly care for this franchise. I'm glad it's about to sashay away forever and to be put in the back burner where it belongs. But if y'all like the film, I want to hear from you. If you didn't like the film, I want to hear from you as well. So let me know what your comments are regarding Joker 2. And if y'all surprised that it flopped the box office, leave your comments down below.